interlock is in, and she did have a successful pass.
Thank you. So since your license has been suspended, you've been continually driving, correct? Just yes or no? Yes or no? Just be honest. Do you understand the seriousness you've gotten yourself into in life? I don't know where your downward spiral has happened and what's going on in your life, but you need to, as we say in the flying world, get your wings level and straight. You were too much about being popular and doing things and being cutesy and all this. You need to focus on life and your family. You need to get your act together.
I've enrolled in a 12-step faith-based program. I know. I'm done with that whole life. I don't ever want to drink again. I don't want it. And I just really didn't.
See, you weren't thinking. You weren't thinking. There's consequences for bad decisions. Now you're facing a felony because you went out and drank again 2 years after you got convicted of another DWI, or really a year. The arrest was 2 years ago, but you got convicted last year. Why should I grant you an occupational license? How do I know you're safe on the road? How do I know you're not going to have a relapse and get in another vehicle without an interlock and drive and kill somebody or yourself? Do stupid things happen in life. You taking prescription medication?
Well, I have an antidepressant that I take. Lorazepam.
How often do you take that?
As needed.
Okay, so it's not a daily prescription. When was the last time you took it? Have you taken any other medications and or illegal drugs or substances? Do you use illegal substances? So if you were to report to adult probation, you would give me a clean UA? So you'll need to contact Melanie Goucher to provide her a urine sample as part of your conditioner bond. I'll let her know right now. I'm going to send her an email. I'm going to grant your occupational license. You're going to be able to legally drive after today. You're going to have to make sure that interlock, you give me one lockout, you give me one breath test that's positive for alcohol, you will not, I'll suspend your driver's privileges. You can walk. You can move to the city and get public transport. You can ride all those nasty buses and trains and everything else. You're getting a chance today. If you want to follow that 12-step program, then you start trusting in the power above. Because if you don't, I guarantee, you can call me dude, I don't care. Okay, because I want you to understand, I'm talking to you, man to a young lady, okay, a father to a daughter, a stranger in your life that has authority over you, but not going to abuse that authority to let you know what you did was wrong. And there's serious consequences. You're going to have to accept the powers of that court when they convict you, if they're convicted of that DWI. And if you spend time in jail, you're going to have to accept the fact. But right now, I'm going to give you that opportunity to prove to society and to the courts and everybody else that you are making changes in life and you are doing better, that you had a down period of time and you've gotten yourself out of that dip and you're back up above that hill. But if I hear you messing up one time, young lady, one time, Ms. Goucher sends me a notice of violation of that, young lady, I'll yank this occupational license so quick, and I don't care how many times you get arrested for driving with license suspended. You will not get another occupational license through this court. And more than likely, when you go to that trial court, and if they convict you and suspend your driving privileges, at that point in time, this occupational license becomes null and void. And your attorney is going to have to apply in that district court and convince that judge that you have the right to get it, or you have a privilege to be issued an occupational license again. Now, have you had an occupational license in the last 10 years? Yes or no? When was the last time you had an occupational license?
GW.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Because you can only get 2 occupational licenses in a 10-year period.
I'm never going to do that.
Well, if they suspend your driving privileges on that felony conviction, you can't get an occupational license after that. Something to think about. Now, I don't know where you're at in that case. So, did you talk to your attorney yesterday?
Yes, sir, I did.
What did he recommend?
That we go through with it.
Okay. So I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt to check with him before I put you in a position that you were unaware of down the road. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and grant this occupational license. There will be a modification to your current condition of bond, where you'll be subject to being called in randomly for alcohol and drug testing.
Okay.
So we're talking to Ms. Goucher about that. And then you will be required, as long as you have an occupational license, to have an interlock on your vehicle. So even if you get a deferment or a plea and they don't suspend your license while you go through the felony DWI, you will be required to have an interlock on any vehicle that you're driving. If you're caught driving a vehicle without an interlock on it, you will lose your occupational license. If you're caught giving me alcohol on any test, you will lose your license. If you miss tests that's required under the rules set forth, you better have a good medical reason and be in the hospital having surgery as to why you missed that test, okay? In other words, I'm going to put a thumb on you to make sure you comply with the court order to ensure safe driving. It's not only safety for you, but the public in general. You understand?
Yes, sir. When you say that I must be like sick in the hospital or something.
I use that as affirmative action statement that I want you to make sure we don't have a Barbie moment where you're, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay. So you mean while I'm driving, if it beeps and I miss it, that kind of thing?
You know something? You need to turn your radio down. You focus on driving. You focus on responding.
Oh, yes, sir.
That. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm
Okay.
going to have a missed test.
Okay. And then you said even if I get the case dropped or it's deferred or something, I will still have the ODO?
If they don't suspend your license as part of that conviction, then my occupational license will stand firm. But if they suspend your driving privileges in the conviction of that felony, then the occupational license becomes null at that time, and you'll have to reapply to the district court that convicted you for an occupational license, because I no longer will have jurisdiction to grant you an occupational license, and my occupational license will only be valid to that point.
Okay.
All right. In reference to granting this, you are required to make sure you follow the rules of the road, have the interlock. Ms. Ashley's going to send you some documents. Please make sure you send all that to DPS with the fees required, and make your appointment with DPS so that they can issue the actual driver's license that you will carry. But the order I'm going to sign and send to you here momentarily, make sure you have it on you at all times. It's good for 45 days. If DPS does not send you all the documents within that 45 days, and if you drive after the 45th day, my temporary order that I'm going to sign is not valid, then you could be arrested for driving a license suspended after that time until you get with DPS. So it's very important today you make an appointment with DPS to get that license. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Ashley.
Judge, did you mention the alcohol class that's required with the ODO?
I did not. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I know that she's already had something on that, but you're also required to complete a alcohol class as part of the occupational driver's license. I know you've done some of them, but since I am issuing an occupational license to you, you're required to do that again. So that'll be in the instructions that Ms. Ashley sends to you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So I'll email a certified copy of the petition and the order. Also, you'll have to add the court as someone on your interlock that gets the reports emailed to the court as well. So you'll have to contact your interlock and then give them the court information for that to be emailed. And then I'll email you both those documents and the instruction sheet. Okay.
Okay. So I need to have the interlock company themselves email you guys?
Yes, they'll send the court the report from the interlock.
Okay.
So Tessa will need to go to adult probation because it's a condition of bond, and also it's a condition of your occupational license. So they'll need to send it to both emails.
Okay. So I need to have the interlock company send a report to you and adult probation?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I just stated.
Okay, yes, sir. I just wanted to be sure.
Okay.
Okay. And that will all be in the email?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.